Do they understand in the real world that 2 rows of 8 is 16, right? Because it's not just the working out, it is the application in real life. So there's several maths mistakes that GCSE students make, and in this video I'm going to be talking about one of them, and that is rote learning. So rote learning, or learning by rote, is simply memorizing without understanding. And what that means is students can memorize formulas in maths, or they might work through the steps but without really understanding what they're doing. And this poses several problems for the students. So firstly, they would struggle with problem solving. So let's just say a student is doing a question around averages, for instance, they wouldn't be able to identify and self-assess that the answer is correct or incorrect because they don't understand that underlying concept to do with averages, that their answers need to fall within that range. This is just a basic example, but this is just to explain to you that when students memorize, and this happens with higher level students as well a lot of the time, because higher level students, sometimes they just get there by cramming and memorizing. So when students memorize, they can't self-assess the answers. And one of the beauty of maths is it's one of those one of the subjects that you know if you've done well because you are able to self-assess and say, yeah, that question, that number makes sense because of A, B, and C. And unfortunately, many students don't know that because they can't self-assess, they can't problem solve, because they are memorizing. The second thing is that students who memorize, they struggle to apply their knowledge. So for instance, they might understand that 2 times 8 equals 16, but do they understand in the real world that 2 rows of 8 is 16? Right? Because it's not just the working out, it is the application in real life. Or what about when they have an exam question where the examiner doesn't ask you to do 2 times 8, but as part of a large exam question, you are expected to know that, oh, this means that I need to times this 2 by that 8 because of this, and that's going to give me the answer, right? So by having a good understanding, then students are able to apply their knowledge, and students tend to miss that because they are learning by rote. So if a question is framed in a different way, then what happens is students struggle to apply their knowledge because they didn't understand it in the first place. And that also leads to issues such as them forgetting information very quickly, and also lack of confidence as to whether their answer is right or wrong. And that's very crucial in maths. So for students to do well, for students to get the highest grade possible and reach their potential, they need to fully understand the concepts so that they can problem solve and self-identify, self-assess if their answer might be correct or not. But also, secondly, so that they can apply their knowledge, because exam questions are based on application of knowledge, and that's one of the key ways examiners use to test, does this student understand this particular concept? And thirdly as well, I would, by not memorizing, by actually understanding, fully understanding what they've learned, it would help them to retain that information. So yeah, this is learning by rote, one of the top 5 mistakes that GCSE maths students make. And you are going to want to know the other 4 mistakes that GCSE maths students make so that you don't make the same mistake. And if you are a parent, you're going to want to know this. You're also going to want to pass this to your child so that they don't make the same mistake. So to get access, so what I've done is I have created a free course called the Top 5 Mistakes That GCSE Maths students make. To get access to this, if you're a parent, to get access to this for your child, the link will be in the description down below. All right, that's all for now. Thanks. Bye.